This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the Dover Liberty Book Club.
So we're preparing, fixing our lance from last time.
Great minds think alike, but maybe quirky minds do too. This particular quirky mind is Russell Canning of Grafton, seen here attacking a federal building in a rather gentle sort of way in early 2010.
Were we victorious? Did we send them back?
Anyway, I was about to do a video suggesting additional focus on Grafton, New Hampshire, when he came up with exactly the same idea and posted it on my YouTube channel. We had never actually discussed this. But anyway, here's my idea in a little more depth.
I'm with the government, and I'm here to help. And right now, I'm showing.
We've seen how activists like Tarrin Lupo and George Donnelly have been able to draw a lot of attention to New Hampshire liberty activists, even though they haven't moved to New Hampshire yet.
Considering what we want to do here?
I didn't tell you to stop doing what you do.
I think we can rest assured that even if every single New Hampshire liberty activist were rounded up and silenced, people like Donnelly and Lupo would make an effort to tell the world about it. In other words, they, and potentially hundreds of others like them, thousands even, provide a sort of shield for us from a distance. They have a special focus on New Hampshire. But why not take that concept a step further? Why not narrow that focus a little more? Maybe liberty activists in New Hampshire and free staters around the world should pay even more attention to a thing that happens in Grafton, to everything liberty-related that happens in Grafton, New Hampshire. If focusing on America's freest state is appropriate, maybe focusing on America's freest town is also even more appropriate. Most encounters with the government in Grafton
that's fine with me.
look more like this than like this. But the more we focus on Grafton, the more we can help keep it that way. So what I'm going to be doing is just giving a little extra attention to a Grafton piece of news, maybe more attention to that than I would be giving to one that occurs in Hopkinton or Manchester or somewhere like that. Though, of course, I can't really get around my one big bias, and that's to bias in favor of something that happens very close to me. I guess you could say I'm introducing a new bias in my reporting, and that is a bias in favor of reporting on things that happen in Grafton. I guess I would also give special attention to reporting things that happen to Grafton residents. Though I don't live there anymore, I can at least pay special attention to what happens there. By doing this, I hope I'm helping to fulfill some of the Free State Project's original mission that was established unofficially in the early 2000s. Jason Sorens had this concept that you would be better off concentrating liberty activists in the parts of the state that were already most pro-liberty. This strategy is sound in the sense that, we're supposed to be carving out a sphere of liberty that is the size of a state, ultimately. But along the way, we can have earlier victories by carving out spheres of liberty that are much smaller, initially. Grafton seems to be the place that has gotten furthest along in terms of concentration of liberty activists. There is already a place people can go where there's no zoning, where the local chief of police is more of a peace officer than a drug hunter, where free staters have a significant voting bloc of their own, and plenty of pro-liberty allies who already live there. Just as New Hampshire-related liberty activism has 10 times as much impact as Maryland-related liberty activism, I think Grafton activism has more impact than general New Hampshire activism. Anyway, so I'll be trying to draw special attention to what's happening in Grafton, and I hope you will too.
All peaceful, all enjoying themselves, not hurting anybody.
By the way, I admit to start this video out by talking about weeda claus. a longtime Grafton resident, who I don't think is a Free Stater. He was targeted by drug enforcers for allegedly growing and or selling a bit of marijuana. He initially cooperated with authorities, I don't mean in an immoral way, but just, he tried to work inside the system to protect himself. But one day he decided to put his foot down and take his case to trial. I've been looking for an excuse to mention what's going on with him, and this video at least is an excuse to do so. He's not going to go quietly. You can follow his fate at freegrafton.com. By the way, there are now, I'm estimating, about 40 Free Staters who have moved to Grafton, which has a population of only 1,300. I think that means the concentration of liberty activists there is about 20 times as high as what you've got in Keene as a percentage of town population. So, I hope my plan to draw additional attention to Grafton gives aid and comfort to Grafton liberty activists. I hope it gives pause to bureaucrats that might be harming people in the area.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by the Dover Liberty Book Club. In addition to eating lots of pastries and drinking lots of coffee, they are dedicated to learning about the basic principles which explain our current economic and social situation. And speaking of economic situations, you'll be glad to know most of the books they read are free. Dover Liberty Book Club.